noticed that you hadn't talked for a while. Is it anything to do with anything on your mind, or has it just been coincidence that you haven't talked for some time?
Why do you care?
Because you
The NBA has always been defined by its balance of power, by dynasties that rise, crash, and rise again, and right now, there is a storm brewing in the West, one that should terrify every other contender. Because for the first time in a long time, all three Texas teams are not just relevant again, they are dangerous. The Rockets, the Mavericks, and the Spurs. Each of them reloaded, each of them upgraded, and each of them carrying a plan that could turn the Western Conference upside down. They are no longer rebuilding projects. They are no longer experiments. They are fully armed, ready, and more unpredictable than ever before. If you thought the West was chaotic already, you haven't seen anything yet. The rest of the league should be very, very worried. Let's start with Houston, because what they've built is nothing short of terrifying. For years, the Rockets have been waiting for their moment, piling up talent, making steady improvements on defense.
Yeah, I mean, this team, they have their whole team. I mean, they're missing their point guard, they're missing LaMarcus and DeMar DeRozan, so...
But always lacking the offensive punch to take them from respectable to truly elite. That problem has now been solved in the most devastating way possible because Kevin Durant is a Houston Rocket. The fit is almost too clean, too seamless, as if the universe itself had been waiting for this move to happen. Durant brings with him the very thing Houston was missing, an offensive killer who can score at will, bend defenses, and elevate teammates, simply by being on the floor. Last season, Houston already had a defense that ranked among the league's best, holding opponents to just 110.8 points per game, the fourth lowest in the NBA. That wasn't the issue. The issue was in the half court, where their scoring often sputtered. They were 13th in offensive efficiency, dangerous at times, but not consistent enough to keep pace with the elite teams out west. With Durant, that flaw becomes a strength. He is the ultimate tough shot maker.
Execute and get out of here safe. And but we know this team is going to be different down the line. So, I mean, us making that many shots, I mean, we're supposed to.
The man who can punish defenses no matter how well they are set, and now he no longer has to exhaust himself on defense the way Phoenix demanded. Surrounded by athletes, defenders, and versatile role players, Durant can go back to being what he was always meant to be, an unstoppable, cold-blooded scorer who breaks games wide open. And if he thrives the way many expect, it isn't out of the question to imagine him sliding right back into the MVP conversation. But Durant is just one piece of this puzzle. Houston's lineup is still evolving, and the fifth starter remains a fascinating question. Durant, Fred VanVleet, Alperen Şengün, and Amen Thompson are locks. But who takes that last spot? The Rockets have options, and each one tells a different story. Dorian Finney-Smith brings shooting and defense, the perfect 3-and-D option to stand in the corner and punish collapsing defenses while also guarding the best perimeter players in the league. Tari Eason offers energy and upside, a growing shooter who has made strides but still isn't quite at Finney-Smith's level.
Was there anything in particular?
No, I just didn't feel like
Had anything to do with conversation about free agency?
it's a conversation we're going to have.
Then there's Jabari Smith Jr., who some argue could be more dangerous as a sixth man, freed from Durant's shadow and able to hunt his own shots as a spark plug off the bench. And, of course, there's the intriguing but risky double-big lineup with Steven Adams alongside Şengün, a pairing that last season produced absurd numbers, a plus 30 net rating, 125 points per 100 possessions, and dominance on the offensive glass. Defensively, that duo was suffocating. The problem, however, is spacing. Adams doesn't shoot at all, and Şengün hit just 23% of his threes. If that number can climb to even 35%, the floor opens up, and suddenly the Twin Towers make sense with Durant in the mid-range. If not, expect to see that look only in second-unit stretches with Jabari sliding in and Durant resting. The bench, meanwhile, is as deep as any in the West. Jabari Smith Jr., Tari Eason, Steven Adams, Clint Capella, and even young pieces like Reed Shepherd give Houston an arsenal of weapons. No longer will they be the team that collapses when the starters sit.
You got to do Ethan Strauss, who come in here and just give his whole opinion on stuff and make it seem like it's coming from me. And he just walked.
This group can extend leads, play different styles, and keep pressure on opponents every single minute. And then there's Amen Thompson, the wild card. His athleticism is already jaw-dropping, his defense already elite, and his offense is catching up fast. Last season, he put up 14 points, 8 rebounds, and over 2 steals per game on 55% shooting. Next to Durant, those numbers could explode. If his jumper starts to fall, it might be game over. The Rockets aren't just contenders. They're a threat. To win the whole thing, an A grade feels fair, but it wouldn't be shocking if by mid-season, Houston had forced us to upgrade them to an A+. They are built to fight for the title, and for the first time since the Harden era, the Rockets look like a team nobody wants to see in a 7-game series. Now, let's shift to Dallas. If Houston's rise feels inevitable, the Mavericks' path feels improbable, almost miraculous. How often does a team with a 1% chance at the top pick actually win the lottery?
Survey and then write something like that, and now y'all piling on me because I don't want to talk to y'all about that. I have nothing to do with the Knicks. I don't know who traded Porzingis. They got nothing to do with me. I'm trying to play basketball.
Yet Dallas did, and in doing so, they landed a generational talent, Cooper Flagg. His arrival instantly changed the entire trajectory of this franchise. At just 18, he already looks NBA ready, a player with the strength, IQ, and motor to contribute immediately. And Jason Kidd isn't easing him in. He's giving him the ball. Dallas plans to test him as a point guard, asking him to run the offense, learn on the fly, and grow into the role. There will be bumps early, but long-term, this could be the best possible move for his development. But Flagg is just one piece. The Mavericks are building an identity rooted in overwhelming size and defense, especially with Anthony Davis now in the mix. Davis at the 4, next to either Derek Lively or Daniel Gafford, instantly brings back memories of the Lakers' 2020 championship formula, when AD thrived alongside rim-protecting bigs like JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard.
They got nothing to do with me. I'm trying to play basketball. Y'all come here every day, ask me about free agency, ask my teammates, my coaches, who rile up the fans about it. Y'all let us play basketball. That's all I'm saying.
That twin tower looks suffocated opponents, taking away the paint entirely. Dallas wants to recreate that, and on paper, it's formidable. Their projected starting lineup is unusual but intriguing. D'Angelo Russell, Klay Thompson, Cooper Flagg, Anthony Davis, and Derek Lively. The big hole, of course, is the absence of Kyrie Irving, who is still recovering from a torn ACL with no clear timetable for return. To patch the gap, Dallas rolled the dice on D'Angelo Russell with the taxpayer mid-level exception. It's a risky bet. Russell is coming off one of his worst seasons, shooting poorly from the field and from 3, benched in Los Angeles, and eventually traded. Asking him to steady an offense is a gamble that could either revive his career or sink the Mavericks' season. The issues don't end there. Shooting is a real concern.
Yeah, you grow up. Come on, bro. I come in here and go to work every day. I don't cause no problems. I play the right way. I try to play the right way. I try to be the best player I can be.
Davis played with Dallas last season. They made just 10.9 threes per game, fewer than even the worst shooting team in the league. To solve this, Klay Thompson has to start. PJ Washington may be the better all-around player right now, but pairing him with Davis and a non-shooting center would crush spacing. Thompson, even if he's not the Klay of old, remains one of the most reliable floor spacers in the league. If Cooper Flagg's jumper translates, he shot 44% from deep over his final 24 games at Duke, then suddenly Dallas has enough shooting to open lanes for Davis and keep defenses honest. But here's the catch. The Mavericks are asking a lot of Flagg, maybe too much. Jason Kidd wants him not just to run offense, but to guard elite players on the perimeter. That means throwing an 18-year-old rookie at stars like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka Doncic, and Jamal Murray. It's a trial by fire, and while Flagg is gifted, the burden is immense.
I play the right way. Well, I try to play the right way. I try to be the best player I can be every possession. What's the problem? What am I doing to y'all? So, who are you? Why do I gotta talk?
The bench, at least, is strong. PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, Caleb Martin, Najee Marshall, Dante Exum, and Max Christie give Dallas real depth. This is their safety net, their biggest strength. But overall, The Mavericks are a team of ifs. If Cooper Flagg is as good as advertised, if Kyrie returns healthy, if Anthony Davis stays on the floor, if D'Angelo Russell finds his rhythm, if Clay has enough left. That's 5 enormous question marks. And in the Western Conference, where every contender is stacked, the margin for error is razor thin. For now, Dallas gets a B. They could be dangerous, but until those questions are answered, they remain more potential than reality. And finally, the Spurs. Theirs is a story of timing, of being just on the cusp of greatness, but maybe not quite.
I just don't trust none of y'all. Every time I say something, it's get twisted up and thrown out in so many different publications. Try to tear me down with my words that I say. So when I don't say nothing, it's a problem.
Ready yet? San Antonio has already been gifted the league's most unique player in Victor Wembanyama, and his sophomore year proved that he is no mere prospect. He is a star. Before blood clots cut his season short, Wembanyama was averaging 24 points, 11 rebounds, and nearly 4 blocks per game, cementing himself as a top 10 player in the league. The medical scare was alarming, but the good news is that it's cleared up, and he is expected to be fully ready for opening night. That alone changes everything. But the Spurs didn't stop there. They traded for De'Aaron Fox, one of the fastest guards in the league and a scorer who nearly led the NBA just 2 seasons ago. The Fox-Wemby pick and roll could become one of the league's most devastating combinations. Add in the smart veteran signings of Luke Kornet and Kelly Olynyk for depth, and suddenly the Spurs aren't just a young team with potential. They're deep, versatile, and serious. The draft only added to the excitement.
Try to tear me down with my words that I say. So when I don't say nothing, it's a problem. I just want to play ball. I want to go to the gym and go home. That's all. Is that a problem?
Landing Dylan Harper 2nd overall and Carter Bryant at 14 gave San Antonio 2 more high-upside pieces. Harper especially has superstar potential, with shades of Jalen Brunson and James Harden in his game. If he adjusts quickly, he could push for a starting spot by mid-season. Their projected starting 5, Fox, Stephon Castle, Harrison Barnes, Jeremy Sochan, and Wembanyama, is already solid. But if Harper develops quickly, Barnes could shift to the bench, Castle could slide to the 3, and the Spurs could field an even more dynamic group. The only concern is defense. A Fox-Harper backcourt might not hold up against elite guards, forcing tough decisions about roles. It could even set the stage for one of them to accept a 6th-man role, a storyline that could define San Antonio's season. But let's be real. As promising as this is, the Spurs are still young, still raw, still building chemistry. Against the juggernauts of the West, OKC, Denver, Houston, they aren't quite ready.
I just want to play ball. I want to go to the gym and go home. That's all. Is that a problem? All right, then.
Give them 2 to 3 years, and they could be a legitimate contender. For now, their ceiling is lower. A C++ feels fair, but make no mistake, they're coming. And once they arrive, the rest of the league will have to deal with the nightmare that is Victor Wembanyama surrounded by a roster full of weapons. So here we are. 3 Texas teams, 3 different stories. Houston, ready to win now. Dallas, teetering between promise and peril. San Antonio, waiting for their future to fully arrive. Together, they represent a shift in the balance of power, a threat to the rest of the Western Conference. The West is already brutal, already unforgiving. But with Texas back in the mix, the fight for supremacy just got even bloodier. And that leaves just one question. Who among them will rise the fastest? Will Durant's Rockets storm the league? Will Cooper Flagg lead Dallas into a new era? Or will Wembanyama's Spurs grow faster than anyone expects? One thing's for certain. Next season, the West will never be the same.